All right, so if you watched my last video, I was talking about basically I'm going to do some videos on the last few rolls I shot. Basically before I kind of realized I'm over this. And like I mentioned, I have a few more rolls left. But I did shoot some rolls, I guess in 2019-ish. Yeah, it must have been 2019. Yeah, obviously. And then I got them developed in 2020 during, this COVID insanity. So these were all shot in the past, but I never had shot FP4 before. I'm pretty certain about it. So this was FP4. This was shot on the Olympus XA, which I've also sold. Great camera, but I'm kind of over the whole film situation. So, it's gone. So let's go through this whole roll, and I'll kind of show you the pictures, pop them up like I usually do, kind of trying to do a little less tabletop, a little more interesting. So I have the roll up here, and I'll kind of just give you some comments as we go through it. First shot. So anyway, there's 39 exposures on this roll of 36, and that's a cool feature of the XA. You can kind of get more shots because when you close it to just get the film kind of on the spool, it's so short compared to like a SLR that you can really kind of already take the picture. This shot is like some, I think they're little hole punch things, like kids were making a mess, hanging chads kind of thing, if you guys remember that election. But it was kind of like a throwaway shot, so maybe you could say I got 38 because I didn't even trust that the shot would come out. It did. But, oh, by the way, I'm still drinking this. This is the same night I took that last video, Wee Beastie, Isla Scotch. Cheers. You'll notice on all these scans, they have a white line either on the top or on the right side. And this is yet another reason why I'm kind of over film. You pay a professional lab like the Dark Room in Southern California, San Clemente, to develop your film and scan it. And they don't even bother to center the freaking negative correctly. So, F film, it pisses me off just thinking about it. And if I'd made a big stink and complained, I did email them about it. They're like, "Oh, send it back." I'm not gonna mail the thing back to you and pay for all the shipping. It's just BS. And it's a dig against them because it's crap service in that sense. And I've had some issues with them in the past, but it's just why even do this? We shoot digital. You don't have these problems. If I screw up the framing, it's my fault. With digital or analog with film, I frame it correctly and they fucking misalign the negative. So yeah, every single scan, I'm missing part of my image and instead have a white line on the side. So I'm going to include the white line so you can see the darkroom scanning quality, in San Clemente, California. Maybe they'll watch this. I doubt it. It's just annoying. But anyway, I'm kind of ranting. This shot, I'll pull this one up. I'll pull them all up. It was we got a new couch thing for our backyard from Costco. My wife bought it, replace our ancient Target set that had been destroyed by the UV rays. So I just was getting a picture of it, and that's kind of thing with with negatives with film. I'm always trying to like get a useful picture. Sometimes it's like I'm not sure if it's valuable, but you got to think about it because it's expensive. Digital, it's free. Once you have the camera, it's free. Just like you guys with your phones. You take a million pictures, who cares? That's just yet another reason why I hate film at this point. I'm kind of over it. This picture, I was trying to get some, an image of the flowering during this was spring. I guess this would have been spring 2019. It couldn't have been 2020. So 2019, when the flowering happens on this, what is this? I think it doesn't matter. It's like a ornamental plum tree. This shot was with the flash, so I knew I was going to sell the camera, and these were one of my last rolls with it, and I wanted to play with the flash. I think it's called the A16. It's the 2AA screw-on flash for the XA. Just took a picture of my daughter in the living room. Again, another picture outside. I believe these are on the order I took them. Looks like, maybe, I don't even know. This is the order they were put in the online folder when I downloaded them. I think they're in the order I took them. This is back outside. I think I showed this one, yeah. So this is back outside. It had been drizzling, so it was spring. And then back inside with the flash was just messing around. I don't know, maybe they screwed up the order with the scans. It's kind of strange. This is outside again, in the spring. You can see the ground's wet and all these pictures. My daughter has a umbrella because, it's drizzling a little bit. Spring showers, right? I was just playing around. I did love that XA camera. I wish Olympus hadn't gone under, and I wish they had made a digital XA with a micro four thirds sensor. That would have been a phenomenal camera. And considering Olympus cameras were good with their IBIS, and they did decent video. I never owned one, but decent video and good photography. Compact, which the micro four thirds would allow. They could have made a killer camera doing either a digital XA or a digital stylus epic or something, but typical big company, they can't think clearly and do anything smart. I would have bought it. That would have been awesome. Anyway, I was just playing around. Picture of the ground with the kind of shallower depth of field. This was probably shot closer, wide open. It is 100 speed, right, or 125. I think I set it at 125. I'm trying to remember the ISO slider on that camera. If you could go to 125 or I did 100. I don't remember. And then I got some pictures of my daughter with her umbrella. With the unit, she loves unicorns. This one, I like this one. This is kind of like a portrait to a degree, even though it's landscape. Maybe it's like an artistic portrait. Trying to show a little bit of depth of field. There's just some photos of the plants, early spring where they don't have much leaves on them. And then I was messing around inside this. So this is without a flash, obviously. You can tell from the way the image looks, with a lot of glow light coming in the window, even though it's 125 film at 2.8, obviously wide open. Probably was a slower shutter speed, but it's still coming out great. It just shows this camera can take really nice pics. Here's my son, similar in the kitchen. A lot of backlight from the windows, and then I obviously had the lights on in the house. No surprise. Something you'll notice with a lot of these photos, look at the corners especially. They all have vignetting, and I think it's because of the way that the so-called aperture blades work. It's like these two metal things with V cutouts, and wide open, they're out of the way, and then as you stop down, they get in the way to kind of come down to make kind of a square aperture. But if you can imagine that square versus a circle for an image, and I'm convinced it causes vignetting because it's like a flawed design they did probably for cost cutting and size. But anyway, we're just taking some pictures inside. This was I've done this a few times, especially with film, of my kids. Kind of like I set them up to look out the window because obviously you get really good glow light. Not on a sunny day where it's harsh as hell, but like a cloudy day, overcast day, you have that diffused, perfect light coming in the window. In black and white, it's definitely perfect because it doesn't even matter if the color is off. He's a little bit overexposed, but it's just a fun picture. It was upstairs, I think, here in this room. Taking some pictures of them outside. Oh, yeah, and this is during the lockdowns. So this actually may have been this latter part of this roll. I guess would have been, or maybe this whole freaking roll was actually exposed in 2020 because during 2020 was the lockdowns where they shut down my kid's school, like I assume a lot of you guys. And, they were doing school from home, virtual. It was a total disaster, as, most of you experienced. It's not the same as being in a class with a teacher. And tried to get them out more to do stuff, riding their scooters around. Thankfully, that's over. At least the lockdown shit. Just getting some glow light upstairs in our house through the glow through the window. I mean, exposure of sky, getting some clouds, and then here's another one with a few of my daughter with her scooter. It's kind of interesting little back glow. We actually took them up to their school to ride around during, again, spring shower time. So this was during the lockdowns in 2020. It's kind of Kind of interesting to look back at this now, honestly. I haven't looked at these pictures in a while. That's a benefit of film, you know. You let them marinate, so to speak. Because I haven't looked at these pictures probably in months. We took them to the school during lockdown because they hadn't been to their school, you know, in a while. I'm trying to remember when was it. We all remember March 2020 when they shut everything down. At least where I live, out in California, in the United States, and they never ended up going back to school that year. They kept them home. This is in total insanity, stupid decision. The medical evidence shows that was a bad idea. Some other countries were smarter than the United States and let the kids go back, but I don't want to go off on that tangent. We took them back to their school to kind of look around and play. A little faded no parking sign. I was trying to get some interesting contrast with the shadows in the cloudy sky. I like this photo a lot. This stupid picture of a basketball hoop. It just, I don't know. I like it. Don't like this one very much, of a soccer ball half inflated, half deflated by a tree. Like this one, their gym with the sky. It's kind of tough with the exposure. Blown out the sky a bit, but I'm also the gym and the trees in the foreground is pretty dark. So I'm not a post processor, so I'm sure, you know, with a right scanning, you could scan that super low contrast and then fix it, but I don't do that. I'm a straight out of camera JPEG guy. Yeah, I'm shooting this in Eterna on my XH1 because I don't do grading. I don't do that stuff. I do maybe sometimes a little manipulation with filters or something when I want it to look more fun, a picture. But that's kind of it. Some of the portables at their school. This one's kind of neat, of my son and daughter, my son and my wife, I should say. And the behind the basketball, you kind of have that back glow. It's kind of neat. I don't know what this photo was for. More sky overblown. This one came out good. Obviously the trees, everything in the foreground is toast, but the sky's exposed well. And then these were kind of fun on the way back to our house. You know, there's the kids on their scooters. There's this one. This is probably my favorite photo of the whole roll. It's just fun, you know, siblings playing with each other, just hanging out. And I think it's a good description of what was going on at that point, you know, in spring 2020. At least, you know, I don't know about the whole world, but, you know, the United States was in this crazy lockdown mentality and nobody was out and the streets were freaking empty and they could literally be in the middle of an intersection and there's no cars. It was weird. Here's this is typical darkroom. Look at this scan. What the fuck? They overlapped two pictures. Oh, okay. All right. I'll give them. Let's take a step back. It's not their fault. So this, I'm assuming it's the last scan. So I probably had gone to the end of the roll, and the film probably only went here. So to scan it, they had to actually back up, which went into the last picture. This bit on the top of this is actually the last picture. So I'll crop in now on what was actually exposed in this. This is a burn shot. So, you know, I guess we said 39 became 38 because of that Chad photo. And then with this, maybe we're 37. So I don't know. I guess maybe you could argue with the unsure or hitting the end of the roll, maybe it's 37 guaranteed exposures and a little bit of extra. This is why I'm not shooting film anymore. Just all of this nonsense and concern, you know, with digital, you don't have any of this. I know exactly how many shots I have left because the camera will tell me, and I can plan accordingly. And you know, with film, it's like haphazard. Even with some cameras, like literally only let you shoot. I'm trying to remember what I had. It was the F3 or FM3A or some camera I had that like literally you had to shoot 36. And oh no, I think it was the Stylus Epic. It was digital. It was more digitalized point and shoots. It's like it gave you 36 and that was it. I guess with those it was controlled, but it was just throwing away the extra film. So I don't know if I like that. But I'm pretty buzzed and from this scotch, and I think I'm just telling you the honest truth. I don't see the point in this. It's interesting, but I mean, look at, unless you pay for super high res scans, and I've done that with the darkroom, and they're not very good. They aren't even close to 16 megapixel digital. So I guess if it's the coloring you like, but even the black and white, you can do this with filters. I really love the MP246 Leica JPEGs. They look awesome. Fuji Acros looks pretty damn good. But yeah, I'm not into the film anymore. I liked the small size and the nostalgia, but it's with all these, there's so many negatives, cost. It's just I don't know why people shoot it anymore. But yeah, this was a roll of Ilford FP4, probably $10 a roll at this point. It's too expensive. Cheers.